Okay. Wow, we are live. There are a few people here already. I am so glad to see you all. Um,
Me
man,
too.
wow, look at all the people here.
Me
Melvina,
too.
um, um, NMSRA. I'm sorry. That was the best I could do. Cynthia, Virginia, Mia, Denise, Abigail, Jocelyn, Freak Show Babe. Oh my God, I'm so
Oh,
glad
what a
you're
great
here.
name.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I've been a follower of hers for a long time. She's, got, super fit, amazing program. So she's
That is
great
an
to follow.
awesome name.
Yeah. So everyone go follow her on Instagram. Miss Tay D and Seabliss. Seabliss, I got to talk to you. I made a brisket today and it was an epic fail. So,
I thought you were going to
yeah.
say it was great.
No, no. Epic fail. Hey, Broken Prophet, it's good to see you. So yeah, Seabliss, I'm gonna need more detailed and specific instruction. But just to like give you an idea of what I did, I cooked it at 225 degrees for hours. It never got softer. It was just tough. We ate it anyway. So 3 pounds of brisket went down.
You got to eat
But
it though. You have to. You have to eat the meat no matter what happens because it was a living being that gave its life.
okay, I wasn't gonna say that. I was just gonna say, it's food. Like you don't throw away food like that.
Oh,
So,
I do. When it's an animal, I have to eat it no matter what happened.
um, well, I we ate it. We ate it. So,
Good.
but yeah, Charmaine, I'm gonna need some help definitely. Okay, so hey, Romeo, and yeah, Seabliss, yeah, laugh at me, yes, laugh at my
But Seamless is the
terrible,
queen. I've said it
yeah,
before and I'll say it again.
yeah,
She's the
oh
queen.
yeah, Queen of Cooking.
The
God,
queen
I
of
mean
cooking.
you cannot surpass her concoctions. This whole egg pudding thing that's going around in the Facebook group, I'm not even gonna try because
Listen,
it's
I'm
just not gonna
sorry, I'm
work.
not on board.
Yeah.
It's that train is not chugging out of the station. There's no egg pudding coming near this mouth. Sorry. It's not for everybody.
I would do it. I mean, I would eat it if it were presented to me, but I just am not gonna. I just don't see myself being able to make it. I don't know. It's just not working.
Interesting. I'm willing to waste the egg because if it was presented to me, I'd be like, sorry, no. But meat, I guess, is different for me. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But no egg pudding. Sorry.
Uh-huh. So, yes, Mia is right. So please, all of you who are here, please like, subscribe, and hit the little bell icon so you can get notification every time I go live, because I don't always tell people. So you definitely want to get notification or be on the list or somehow be on the inside so you can get this information even if it's coming by, psychic transmission.
Because there's a
Um,
bell.
yeah, yeah, the bell.
There's a
That's the
bell
easiest way.
down there somewhere. Over there. I don't know.
Yeah. So, and Greg says, ask me if I wrap the brisket around 160 degrees. No, no, I didn't. So first problem, I guess. um, and Broken Prophet, that's right. Meat gets eaten no matter how it turns out. That is the rule. Agreed.
Thank you, BP. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so let's dive right into today's topic. So, if you saw the YouTube, I mean the thumbnail, you saw that we're talking about when diet becomes dogma. So, Assista, your carnivore day 1 today. So that's awesome.
Oh,
Congratulations. So happy.
congratulations.
Yeah, we
Wonderful
love.
news.
We love having newbies, so that is awesome, and I'm so excited. And I don't know if anybody here noticed, I put out another video this morning on common problems and common solutions to, to the things that come up when you're just starting a carnivore diet, or even if you're transitioning from keto to carnivore. So I would definitely tell you to check that out. Plus, we have a 2-hour-long live stream where Arian and I kind of went through all of this stuff, so that can be really helpful for you as well. Yeah. Okay, so C Bliss is talking about sheltering a brisket. So clearly I was there. I had no shot of getting this right. I don't know what that means, to shelter a piece of meat.
I immediately pictured a cow underneath some kind of it's raining, and the cow was underneath some kind of a protective. That's what I thought, sheltering the brisket.
Oh my God, that is so clear. That's like if you told me to fold an egg. There's just no shot.
I see it. I see it. I get it.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to dive right in and start talking about diet dogma rules and, how we can get a little bit thrown off by getting hyper focused on details. So what I'm going to do
is you're going to look up the definition.
I am going to look up the definition.
Dogma, because maybe not everybody knows. And I kind of want to talk a little bit about how we started this conversation. Because of someone's post.
Okay, so dive in on that.
So there was I'm going to call him a diet guru, because he's not a carnivore guru. He's not a keto guru. But he posted, I think it was on his Instagram, an infographic of the rules around his diet. And when he posted it, he said that, and this is to paraphrase, this kind of flies in the face of the religions around other diets. And I thought to myself, well, that's convenient, because he posted an Instagram of the rules for this particular diet, which is kind of like a Bible of rules. And he is the one who posted it, so he is the authority figure in this diet he created. So I thought, how hypocritical.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's dive right in. Now I see Arian, thank you Arian, has posted the definition of dogma, so that's super helpful.
So what does it say? Because I'm not looking in the chat.
Wait a minute. Oh my gosh.
Can.
Yes, hold on.
It says candy can.
I know.
There's like
I know. Hold
mist.
on.
Oh, it's beautiful though.
I know.
It looks like it's a geyser coming together. It's gorgeous. Oh, that was stunning. Certainly wish I was there this evening.
No, you wish you were here.
Tahiti. It's true. I wish I was there doing this. Let's put it that way. Welcome back, 8A. It's so good to see you.
Okay, so I have a different camera than I normally use, and I forgot there was something I had to do to make sure it didn't turn off. So now,
she's never going to forget now.
I know, right? But now it will not turn off, hopefully, at all during the live stream. So that's good. But yeah, sorry. Yeah, keep fingers crossed. Okay.
But what's the definition of dogma?
Okay, so a doctrine or corpus of doctrines relating to matters such as morality and faith set forth in an authoritative manner by a religion.
Okay. All right. Morality. That's the one that sticks out for me. So I guess that a diet, if we're looking at that definition, a diet could kind of be a dogma. Right?
Yeah.
That's been laid out for us to follow. So I have to go back to the post.
Yeah. Let's go back to the post.
Was this dogma?
So I think the post was intended not to be dogma and to allow freedom, but the reverse is what ended up happening with it, I think.
And with that, I have to question again. The way it was posted was it flies in the face of these other religious diets. And I had to question, is that a bad thing?
Mm-hmm.
So is it bad that it was as though it was meant to make people feel bad about following another protocol with regard to what they eat. And I mean, we know that there are a lot of religions that have a protocol around what they eat specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And no, it's not that we're all attached to a higher God or a higher being, or is that higher God or higher being ourselves within this diet that we follow? Oh my God, I'm getting so philosophical.
Well, I guess I felt off put by the post because I felt like it diminished anyone who had a set of protocols or rules by which they made decisions about what they eat. And it's like, you know, I think that you have to be really careful and responsible about what you tell people about what is healthy to eat, because different people have different circumstances and different things going on. And what I see happening more and more is that the quote unquote experts in the field are usually youngish healthy males and just don't have the same stuff going on. So they're free to biohack, experiment, try different things, and those things, have maybe a negligible impact on their day and their lives. But those experimentations, can have quite a big impact on people who are still carrying 80 pounds or still have high blood pressure or still, working on bringing their blood glucose down. And so for those people to hear that the choice that they've made is not is dogmatic and not founded in science is not helpful. I mean, it's just, it's confusing. And there are good reasons not to eat honey or, to experiment with carbohydrates. Like, there are good reasons. Tons of people struggling with diabetes and, high blood glucose, they'll all have great reasons not to eat those things.
But I
So,
think I think what's interesting about this, however, is that when you're looking at rules and guidelines, let's say you are in a religion or a particular diet, you do have the right to stray from that and question it, perhaps. And I think that's a part of this community as well, is that we don't all follow the
mhm,
same rules and regulations. We kind of call ourselves one thing, but for instance, I eat avocado. Another carnivore would think that's sacrilege that I eat carnivore, or maybe that somebody puts a sprig of parsley on top of their steak. That's sacrilege. But we are free within this community to make decisions that are good for us and not be ostracized. And when I say this community, I'm talking about the Black carnivore community specifically.
yeah.
So we can make decisions for ourselves for what we think is best for us in any given space of time, right? Because we
Hmm.
also have the right to change our minds or take advice maybe that somebody else is giving and try that for a little while. So I I think it's important that we recognize that within this space, you do have the right to make decisions with regard to your own
Hmm.
body and what you eat, and not get a sense from the rest of the community that, hey, except for orange juice, of course.
Well, I mean, if your goal is reaching optimal health, then I think that you can draw the line with certain things, and you can tell people like that food is not going to bring you toward your goal of optimal health. At best, you're just going to be at a standstill. At worst, you're going to back up. But, it's up to each person to decide how well they want to feel and how quickly they want to reach their goal. And so if they decide I don't want to do it quickly, hey, that's okay. But, you got to know the truth. And I think I don't feel like people are being given like accurate information about how these specific items are going to affect them. So if you are one of those lucky people who has been able to eat honey, all the time, and you're losing weight and all your markers are getting better, then great. That's awesome. But you're an anomaly. I don't think that you're the norm.
You are an anomaly, or somebody who I can eat carbs every now and again. I think you're an anomaly.
Mm-hmm.
I think you are in a very sound metabolic state if you are able to eat carbs and not feel like you're being pulled back into it.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing to say, pulled back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do feel like, I mean, I guess I feel like there's a sort of cultish feeling where, depending on what you say you eat, people are like, well, wait a minute, that's not carnivore. Well, that's not carnivore. You can't do that. And it's like, well, I don't know. I mean, how strict do you want or need to be? And what, where are we drawing the lines? And why do we need to draw those lines? Like, each person is just trying to get healthy. Like,
that's interesting. It's interesting that you do say that, because you're absolutely right. And I don't know where that line is. But I know that I've had conversations with people who say, well, yes, I'm carnivore. I eat mostly meat, and I do have sweet potato. I'm like, I think that's sacrilege. I don't necessarily say anything to them about it, but a part of me is like, well, how can you call yourself carnivore? I don't understand it. Don't you see?
Mm-hmm.
But it is their decision, right, to do that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the question, how is that working for you? And, I mean, honestly, so this morning I saw, Ken Berry had posted a video about eczema and carnivore, and so listening to it, I did not realize that salicylates were so implicated in carnivore, and that just sent me on a rabbit hole, Googling stuff. So I'm like listening to all this different stuff, and so apparently, I did not know this, caffeine is a major no-no for people with eczema.
Is that a salicylate?
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure.
What is that?
So salicylates are, these compounds in plants that, can act as hormones for the plants, enzymes. They are part of the chemical warfare that the plant does to protect itself. So they're in all fruits and vegetables in varying amounts.
Okay.
So, but, looking at that and eczema, I came across a lot of, videos about caffeine and eczema, and so I did not know that this is a thing. And I was like, oh man, I'm on day, I think 4 of no coffee. And I've been thinking, gosh, my eczema seems like really calm, the last couple of days.
Oh, I see.
And so it's like, oh, I really have to move into the strict column of our definitions of carnivore. Now, that doesn't mean that I think that you or other people who are in the moderate or relaxed column are not carnivores, but I recognize that I have specific health goals that require me to be a little bit more strict, or to do something a little bit different. But I don't want to be so cultish about it that I say to people, if it's not beef, salt, and water, go home.
The other part of cultish is shunning as well. Right? So that is a reason for people to stay within a cult, is the shunning aspect of it. And I know that within carnivore, I do see that there is some shunning going on. Once again, I haven't seen it in our community. However, it is happening that someone decides that they no longer want to be carnivore. Don't know why someone would do that, but nonetheless, it's their choice. They've decided they no longer want to be carnivore, become an omnivore, whatever. And the carnivore community takes offense to it. And in a way, are we taking offense because our ideology is being threatened? Is it an ideology? I mean, science isn't, science asks questions, right? And looks for answers to questions. And the answer that makes the most sense is usually the one that we go with. But it doesn't necessarily mean that's the be all and end all.
Yeah, I mean, science, the very definition of science, is like we've never gotten to the be all and end all. We're always asking more questions.
So
always seeking more information.
Always seeking more information, and I do ask myself those questions. Am I right? Am I right with this carnivore thing? And that's the same question I ask myself with keto. The same question I ask myself with paleo. The same question I ask counting calories and exercising my buns off. Is this right? And I think that in order for me to move along that scale to carnivore was having these questions in mind. And then when I found an answer that made sense to me, I was able to take the next step. And it kept going like that.
Yeah. Well, I feel when I see people, saying, I was carnivore and now I'm not, and it doesn't work for me, or it doesn't work. I kind of listen to the videos because, well, one, I'm, of course, like, I'm following this diet. Surely if there's something seriously wrong, I want to know about it. But yes. I feel like, every time I listen to those videos, a lot of times it's people who were, I don't even know where they got their information, but they were like doing the, hot dog and chicken wings carnivore diet, which is like, yeah, of course, you should get off of that. That's not good. But then there are others who I think, are doing this biohacking, or they've got other things going on with their body, just are not, not the typical things that are going on. And they, and that doesn't match like my, my needs. And so I am, continue to feel confident that this way of eating is a healthy way. And it is what is going to help me reach my goals, and I feel comfortable and safe in eating this way. But it's alarming. Like every time you see one of these videos with the title like you're gonna die if you do this. Don't do this. Like, or I thought I was gonna die, and that's what I left. Doing this, and it's like.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it 8A. Okay. Yeah. Because I think I've seen only one video of, well, I think carnivore kill you, or carnivore is going to kill me, or some stuff. And when I went into the video, it was actually this person talking about how it's not necessarily the carnivore diet that's going to kill them, but it's the range of fat to protein that they're concerned about. And then they toted a particular person's name in that video. And it wasn't truthful. I thought it was deceitful. I would like to see a video if somebody says, I left carnivore, that is longer than 10 days. They were on it longer than 2 weeks. They did try to do fat to protein ratios. They did try to do these things. They were on it for an extensive amount of time. And I want to hear just like you, I want to hear what happened, because I'm also keeping my eyes and ears open for any changes that I see within my body that cause problems for me, that I'm concerned about, right? So I do pay close attention to those things. if I see a video like that where the person is talking about something that I'm concerned about, then I have to listen to what they're saying. Maybe they're right, but oftentimes they'll actually come up with a solution within carnivore, is what I tend to see happen, rather than I left carnivore, I went back to omnivore, and I feel better than ever. I've never seen that. Maybe it's possible because, it's not that carnivore's new. This is how humans evolved, but in a way, it is new. In a way, the people I've seen who have been on it for 10 years, 15 years, they seem to be functioning just fine. But I know that there are other diets where in the initial stages, people feel great. They feel fantastic. And then over time, things start to go downhill. And because they had that original feeling of feeling great, feeling good, they can't come to terms with the fact that their diet is not sustainable.
Yeah. Exactly. So I see there's a bunch of stuff in the comments. I'm sorry. Let me just go through here.
What do people say?
Let's see. Yeah, Mia, my eczema has never fully gone away. So it's definitely gotten better. Like going on keto made it get a lot better. And going carnivore made it improve, but I still have, flare-ups all the time that I haven't always been able to figure out. I do know, have finally fully accepted that bacon absolutely is a problem, and I had some last week and that caused a flare-up, so, there we go.
Do you take note? Do you take note of what causes a flare-up?
Bacon and pork rinds.
And pork rinds. So it's pork. Yeah. Is it pork altogether, or?
Well, this is something that we were discussing over the last, when I talked about with Arian, I think on one of the Zooms and on the live. I don't know. I think that it is more bacon and pork rinds, but if I make fresh pork, it's not so much a problem. But I think it is still a problem, even with fresh pork, just less of a problem. So, the idea was that maybe it was the salicylates. That maybe it was histamines, and that pork has more histamines than beef, and it also triggers a higher response from your body than, beef. So
have you tried Berkshire bacon?
Oh, yes, I have. It's all a problem. The fanciest stuff down to, the cheapest stuff. It's all a problem. So, yeah, so I'm clearly going to have to take it out. I took out pork rinds a long time ago because that I have a terrible reaction to. But in any event, but looking, as I was saying, I was looking, I went on this whole, deep dive on all these videos this morning and saw that caffeine was a major problem. But in addition to that, it's the salicylates that are in all vegetables and fruits that are a problem. And so looking through, what are high and low in salicylates, herbs and spices are very high. It's
plants.
I know, but I know, but a tiny bit of thyme, rosemary, but thyme is high on the list. That's, very high.
That's a plant. That's
pepper.
But I have to say that you could very well be one of these people who makes a video and says carnivore nearly killed me or carnivore didn't work for me. You could, if you decided to just stop at pork.
Yeah.
Right? Let's say that you only ate pork as a carnivore. Well, it didn't work for me. You didn't actually extend yourself to beef or chicken or goat or whatever else. So you could in fact make a video. Says it didn't work for me. I'm out of here.
Yeah, but see, I don't want to do that because that's disingenuous. And
no. I'm not saying to do it. I'm saying theoretically you could do that if you had stopped. You could be a person who stopped at pork, and then your eczema flared up. Just
I mean, I feel really committed to the carnivore way of life. And, some people have accused me of being cultish or, a zealot about it. But, the fact is that I have seen people have so much success with it. But yeah, there are sometimes, there are challenges with it. There are some things that you have to tweak. You do have to play around with it to make it work for you. But that doesn't mean it doesn't work. It's just that, you got specific stuff going on. And not everybody has the autoimmune stuff that I have going on. So some people can eat cheese and it's not a problem. Some people can eat herbs and it's not a problem. But, I'm finally coming to accept that I'm going to have to stay on the left side of that sheet in the strict column.
You got to get it out of there.
Yeah. And I'm going to have to do, more careful testing. But, my symptoms are so much more minor now that I don't always really notice them either. So if my nose sniffles a little more, like it doesn't necessarily register that it's a problem. It's just kind of like, that's just something that's happening. But now I'm starting to think, that little bit of sniffle or that slight itch, like that's the sign. It's not huge and global like it once was, but that's the sign.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I mean, for me personally, I'm just continuing to heal. I know what will cause a sniffly nose or, what will cause me problems, and it's not within the carnivore realm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At all.
So Leon says Dr. Paul spoke about pork and many came afro. I think, are you talking about Paul Mason or Paul Saladino? Yeah, I definitely need to look a little more. I have seen some people talk about pork. Like, I've been talking about pork being a problem for a long time. So
me personally,
need to accept it.
I've got a great relationship with pork.
Yeah. Okay. So, let's see. Sorry. And Seabliss says, I'll always be carnivore meat based. Yeah.
Me too, Seabliss.
Yeah.
Me too.
And Esther Hunter asked me if I can enjoy chicken skins in place of pork skins. That is a fantastic idea. I have no problem with that. We'll see. I mean, I think that I do best when I'm 98% beef, and then I can throw in a few other things. But if I start straying from that and making other things more of the base, then I'm going to have more of a problem.
Mm-hmm. Now, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever feel challenged by not proselytizing with regard to this diet?
Yes.
I feel that challenge too.
Mm-hmm.
When someone will tell me, oh gosh, I'm so sick. Oh gosh, this thing hurts me. Oh gosh, my blood work came back and it's this and that. Yeah. And to not go into my carnivore talk is challenging. How do you deal with that, Ada? Do you go into it? Do you not go into it?
I just keep my mouth shut. I mean,
yeah, me too.
I ran into a friend like maybe 2 weeks ago, and I hadn't seen him in a couple of years, and I was like, hey, oh my God, how you doing? What's going on? And he's like, oh, I'm tired. And I'm like, I haven't seen you in a couple of years. I mean, I'm like, I haven't seen you in a couple of years, and that's the first thing that you say, that means he must have been really tired.
Yeah.
Like, that has to be your entire world. And I felt bad, because I'm like, I know, he's got asthma, inflammation, allergies. I mean, it's all the same stuff. It would all be resolved if you just did this. But, what am I going to say?
I do. I know exactly what you mean. I want to do the same thing. I want to say you should go carnivore. I know that carnivore isn't necessarily the be all and end all. It's not the answer to everything, even though part of me feels like it is. However, maybe not for everyone. Some people are sicker than others. But I have to, it gets right to the tip of my, before my teeth, and then I stop myself from saying it. Because I really do. I want to say, join me. But then that kind of has like that cult kind of mentality, you know?
And, you know, I mean, and I feel like a part of me is like, it kind of needs to be like a cult because we're walking through a world that, I mean, we're literally walking through Candyland. I mean, when I was a kid, you know, I had that board game and I used to think, oh, I would love to live in a world like Candyland, you know, where you've got like candy cane, like trees and gumdrops all over the place and, you know, everything. But like, that's actually the world that we're living in today. And we're being told by people that we're supposed to trust and who are authorities that that is a healthy, important way to live. And so we have to be a little bit cultish to, you know, constantly remind ourselves, like, that's not the way we need to live. That's not the way we need to eat. And we need to have our communities. We need to have Black Carnivore. We need to have these channels. We need to have people who are constantly saying to us, you've made the right choice. This is the way to eat. This is the way you're going to achieve optimal health. And so we have to be a little bit cultish. So I'm not opposed to carnivore seeming a little bit religious-like, but I don't want to ostracize people who feel like they need to do something slightly different.
Agreed. I do think that religion and cults are two different things, but I have noticed lately that some leaders, experts within the field of carnivore have been saying things outside of carnivore that I find highly offensive and disagree with greatly. And then with that, we have leaders and followers within this realm can decide that person makes no sense anymore. I'm not listening to them, and leave that leader. Unlike a cult, there is no pressure from the rest of the community. Like sometimes we may want to go out and say, hey, did you hear what Saladino said the other day? Wowzers, on our little carnivore. Wowzers, that was like, and you're looking for people who agree with you, and there will be those people who disagree. But I chose that what Saladino was saying no longer makes sense to me. What's his name? The South African doctor. He said some stuff that I'm like, wow, Noakes. I followed Noakes. I the trial, I read his book, everything. But recently he's been saying some things that outside of carnivore, that I just feel are detrimental and will hurt people. So I myself no longer listen to Noakes and have decided I got the information that I needed from him at the time, and I'm moving right along.
Yeah. I mean, I'm quickly coming to the same place. I feel like so many of these people that I have learned from in the past and thought were, people who had a thought process that I, felt like I could trust. I'm now hearing things that just make me very uncomfortable. So, I have like kind of withdrawn, from following a lot of these folks. And I just feel like, like given the world that we're in, like we just need to provide support for the people who've made it here, however they made it here. Let's just provide support and, shore up the people who are already here. And then, as we continue to gain health, we encourage others to join us. And the other thing, like I did see maybe it was Esther or someone else who said that Esther says there's nothing wrong with sharing something you believe in. I do it every day as a minister of Jesus Christ. I share what I believe in, and I add carnivore to my message. So there isn't anything wrong with sharing it. I think, I refrain because sometimes I feel like people just kind of tune it out, and I don't necessarily want to do that. And I know that I did too, when people used to, give me whatever they thought their diet advice was, or whatever.
Or anything.
Like,
or whatever it was.
Yeah. So, but after so many years of doing this, I feel like people are starting to say, so what is it you do? 'Cause you look really good. And, I'm feeling kind of, tired or whatever. Tell me more about what it is you're doing. So, I feel like the example of my life and my health is what I have to offer. And that's really kind of the best way for me to proselytize, about this way of eating. So,
and I have to say that I feel so disappointed when I realize that a community that I thought I was a part of, I'm really not a part of. That. Wow. That is like, I've been listening to this person, I've been following them, I watched their videos, I read their book, and then I come to realize that they don't even know that I, as a demographic, exist. They're not talking to me.
Yeah.
How disappointing.
Yeah. So, we started this community to talk to us. And there are, and I knew that there were a lot of us who were experimenting or looking at this way of eating. And I'm really glad that, we've started this channel, we've started these lives, we're putting out video, and we're creating community and a place to talk and get support, because, there are a lot of us doing this who really need to be eating this way. How many of us have asthma and, heart disease and high blood pressure?
Diabetes. Mm-hmm. Yes, it goes on and on. And I just want to say for a second that I know that I do tease. I do tease our friends within our community sometimes, but I think it's important that they know that it's not with the intent to ostracize, because you did mention that earlier. And sometimes I tease.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. I mean, we gotta have fun. That's what we do. Yeah.
Gotta have a good time while you're carnivore, right?
Yeah. Jimmy says, "I'm glad you started this. Heart. Thank you. I really appreciate that." And I know earlier Jimmy said he had just reached 100-pound weight loss. So you're through your stall. So that's amazing. Bravo. And
excellent.
Yeah. So you just got to keep chugging along, and it just really just takes time. Yeah.
That's excellent.
But I feel like I struggle a little bit with this, with this issue of diet being dogma, because on the one hand, we want, that freedom to be able to personalize it and make it work for you. But at the same time, we kind of need a little bit of that dogma to or re-educate ourselves about what is healthy. And in the first, year of my being carnivore, I really did kind of have to say to myself, I only eat animal foods. I am a huntress. I eat animal foods, because, getting it out of your head that, like, just a little bite of this, it'll be fine, or it's a holiday, or it's my birthday. There are no calories or health implications of what you eat.
In Portugal?
Or on your birthday, like, there's like a little wormhole that takes you into another universe. So it was, I did need some of that dogma to kind of get through and really understand that these foods are not ever healthy for me.
I think for me, that dogma evolved around creating my food values.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have food values. I think that people within the carnivore community have food values. You have to have a value surrounding this lifestyle in order to continue with it. And as I mentioned before, part of my food value was formulated around ensuring that I am able to grow old independently,
Mm-hmm.
dance on the dance floor with my 25-year-old boyfriend, and then the next day, right? Like, I don't want to
Right.
be a burden on the healthcare system, is a
Yeah.
part of my food values. I want to be independent and vibrant
Yeah.
until my final days.
Yeah.
That's just a part of
Exactly.
my food values. Or I don't want to be on a lot of medication. The best way for me so far that I figured out to ensure that that doesn't happen is carnivore. That's a part of my food values. That's a part. Is that a part of my personal dogma? Interesting. My own personal dogma? You think, Ade?
Yes, I think it has to be a part of your personal dogma, and and it is for me, absolutely. But that's something that evolved. When I was 20, like I didn't think I was ever going to die. So, it's like
Yes.
smoking cigarettes. It's like, well, I'll quit later. Before I get cancer, I'll quit.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes. Yes, yes. I
right.
do remember thinking that way.
Yeah. So, so that's something that evolves over time, and you get better at it. But like, I think you have to ingrain those values into your mind, but simultaneously, you have to be willing to question everything and experiment. And I think that a lot of people do care about their health, and so when they're told by the standard authority, like, you must eat this many vegetables, you must reduce your red meat and stuff, like, I think a lot of Americans have done it. We're sort of told that we aren't doing that, but I don't think that's true. I mean, the amount of chicken that is being eaten now is has gone way up over beef. In the last several decades, the amount of vegetables that are at least being purchased has gone way up. So people are listening to these directives. But if they're maybe not getting good information, and not maybe not going out there and being willing to do something that's like completely opposite from what they've been told. But where was I going with that?
It sounded good so far.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, so I think that people are trying to be healthy, but along with that, you kind of have to be, you have to be a little bit of a renegade and a little bit of a mad scientist, and actually experimenting on your body. And I got tired of listening to what's supposed to happen instead of what's actually happening.
Now, I have questioned all of the diets I've been on.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, carnivore is the only one. I guess I have questions about it, but I so far haven't had doubt about it. So I even had doubt about keto.
Mm-hmm.
Getting to carnivore, I haven't felt that sense of doubt yet.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully I won't, but I'm open to it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm open to doubt and then investigating what it is that I'm questioning.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, I think I can turn to the community and voice it without being shunned or meant to feel bad about questioning something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sorry. There were a couple of interesting
It's all right,
comments.
Ade. It's okay. Anything
Yeah.
I should hear? I can't see the comments, by the way. Anything I should hear about?
Let's see. Seabliss says, Cougars unite. That made me laugh. Us, Cougars.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought I was still in my 30s. I don't know. Does that still define as a cougar?
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Sure.
I'm not in my 30s.
And yeah. So, very good. So, I have also been really paying attention to like the conversation around food addiction and what is necessary for people to, get the support they need in that circumstance. And again, you're constantly being tempted by people and institutions that are telling you to eat this substance that we really have no control over. And the only way to to push back against that is to have community of people who are like, you're making the right choice. That stuff is really bad for you. You can't eat it. But without that, on our own, I mean, we would just be powerless to really, to fight against that. And so
marketing is powerful.
Yeah. So in that circumstance, we need to have some dogma. We need to have strict rules to adhere to. So I think, you got to figure out when you need these strict rules and when you can, experiment with them. And this is something we've been saying about the honey is that, is this just people's sugar addiction, just, not willing to let go? And so,
because I don't see the point. We don't use honey for energy. We use fat for energy. If it were a matter of we have to consume honey specifically for energy, then okay, I guess I get it. But it has absolutely no purpose whatsoever. So if it doesn't have a purpose, that means you're satisfying something else.
Yeah.
It has no purpose. The
Exactly.
other thing is that you can't make money off of carnivore. You can't. People are trying. They're trying to create food products, trying to make some money off of carnivore. But I imagine it's a very hard thing to do because carnivore is free. It's just free. So if you can't make money off of carnivore, there is no higher marketing campaign or anything like that to keep you on track. But there are marketing campaigns to get you off of it so that companies can make money off of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in a way, community is important to stay on track.
Right. Right. So in that case, we do need to have pretty clear rules and guidelines that say, no, that is not what we value. That's not what we believe in. Those things are not going to lead you to optimal health.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, sometimes I wonder, how do you balance that? Because there's a lot of pushback around honey. It is, I guess, carnivore, but it doesn't help you. It doesn't help most people. And for some people, it's innocuous. But
I don't know. I didn't really get into that whole honey conversation, but my thing is if it's carnivore, then we're eating the bee. Aren't we eating the bee rather than the honey that the bee? I don't know. Maybe. Is that not a good question, Nadine? Should we be eating the bee if it's carnivore rather than the honey?
I don't know. I don't know. That just seems so gross.
Yeah, exactly, but that's my point.
Yeah.
Is it really carnivore? Yeah. Honey is honey carnivore?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. It's not the animal.
It's not the bee.
It's just the contents of their stomach.
It's their vomit. That's what it is. So I don't know.
Yeah. And I mean, not if we're eating it separate from. Yeah, I guess, you're right. What's in their stomach is not who they are.
Now milk is, I think milk is something different. Milk doesn't work for all carnivores. but it's not the contents of the stomach per se. No.
Right. Yeah.
And we do eat the cow.
Yeah.
But we don't eat bees.
Yeah.
Well, maybe somebody eats bees. I'm not that person.
Yeah, especially since they're like collapsing. It's not good to eat them.
It's not good.
Yeah. But I think even this argument or this discussion about whether it is carnivore or not, I feel like is an unhelpful conversation because it takes you away from discussing whether there is value in, what honey does for your body or not. Regardless of whether, you decide it is in the carnivore category, is it helpful?
See, there are different books of rules. Mm-hmm. Within carnivore, there are different books of rules. Mm-hmm. Some people are going to read that book and they like that book. They're going to read that book, they like that book, then they're going to switch over to that book. Mm-hmm. Who's to say? But if you are going to be strict carnivore, to me, strict carnivore is raw red meat, salt, water. That is strict carnivore. In my book. In my book of carnivore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Raw red meat, salt, and water.
Yeah. So, not going to do raw meat. So, I guess
not going to do raw meat.
Already puts me out of the
I'm never going to be in my book I'm never going to be strict carnivore. I'm not going to eat red meat or raw red meat.
Yeah. I have eaten raw red meat. It is, it is good. But I did get sick and I decided, and that was at the beginning of the, our difficult times here in the world. And I just decided this was not a good time to get sick or to go to the doctor.
Was it steak tartare? Did you have it in a restaurant?
No, I made it myself.
Okay, that'll do it. Mm-hmm. Was it a tartare recipe?
I mean, it was, finely minced roast. So
it happened. Whatever. What happened. It's over now.
So, and that doesn't mean that I wouldn't ever have it again. And I've definitely, I think there's someone in our community, Apex, I forgot the rest of his name. But anyway, he's a chef and was telling me all the things you have to do to make sure that you've got a clean sanitary surface to, to make the stuff. So as he told me that, it was like all the things you have to do. It was like, oh, clearly I am never going to do these things.
Oh, so it wasn't from the meat necessarily. It was from the surface that you were preparing the meat on.
No, it was from the meat, but there's a way that you have to do it to make sure that the surface is clean. Like you have to have the right cutting board. You have to sear the outside or cut off the outside so that, because the interior of the meat is sterile. It is, but it's only when you cut into the meat that you start to have a problem. But I didn't have like necessarily, I had a bamboo cutting board, which isn't necessarily, it'll have nicks and stuff in it. So there's a chance for bacteria to be there. I didn't, I think I cut off the exterior, but I wasn't, super careful about it. All of those things.
And this is why you cannot order a medium rare beef patty in a restaurant.
Well, yeah.
Because it's
So I don't eat it cooked that way anymore. But I see
or
why
not
you
cooked
would
that way.
Right. Yeah. That level of uncooked.
That level of uncooked.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think that would be in Deborah's Bible of carnivore. That's the strictest. Mm-hmm. That's the closest to heaven.
Yeah. And there are people who eat that way and they say they really thrive, which is why I decided to try it. But it was hard. It was hard for me to do. I like cooked meat. I like crispy meat. I like crispy fat that's salty.
I already said, I don't care who says but I like my meat well done. I don't want to see blood dripping all over the place. I want my meat well done. Just a little pink on the inside. Nothing wrong with that. If somebody wants to eat well done meat, I'm not a second class citizen to someone who wants their meat rare. There's a classism within carnivore 8A. I'm sorry, there is. Esther, I know you like your meat well done too. I heard about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for a while I was definitely going like super rare, and that's supposed to be the best, and after a while I was like, I like it medium. Well done even. I don't know.
What's wrong with that?
I like the fat, crispy and brown, and whatever it takes to get there. So
and here's the other thing. I have to question this whole rare meat, raw meat's better for you thing, because we do have to start the processing the meat through cooking. Like there's a reason why we're cooking it, to start breaking down the nutrients within the meat. If I'm eating raw meat, I think there's a lot more work my body has to do to get to the nutrients within the meat. Mm-hmm. We've got big brains from cooking.
Yeah.
Maybe I can start off eating some raw, but then I'm going to go start my fire.
Yeah.
And get that meat on the spit, and let's get going. Let's cook that up.
Yeah. All right, good. I'm glad I feel so free to be able to come out of the closet on this. I like well done meat. I like medium well. So,
welcome.
Yes. Yes. I like a slight pink inside, but
just
not red.
Just a little bit of pink.
Yeah.
Right? The knife cuts through beautifully. Mm-hmm. Crispy fat on there. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it. Anybody out? Hey, how should I cook my meat? You cook your meat how you want to eat it.
Yeah. I know. I mean, man, just, to be able to do the thing that you want to do, and your body feels good with it. And this is the thing that we are always talking about and preaching here in Carnivore, is that your body is queen or king, and it will tell you what it wants, and it tells you by things feeling good and tasting good or not tasting good. Like, that's how your body communicates with you. So if it appeals to you and you like it a certain way, that is the correct way for you to do it.
That is, because if you're doing something and you don't like it, you're going to stop doing it eventually. You're going to say, well, that didn't work for me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I tried carnivore. It didn't work for me. And then we find out the person only ate raw meat. Because that's what they thought carnivore was.
Yeah. Yeah.
No. Or a person, let's say like me, I declared carnivore eating avocado, which is a plant. I declared carnivore. Because I didn't know, I eat mostly meat and avocados. I just had to put it under an umbrella. I just had to define it somehow. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I still had a little bit of broccoli too. You were still drinking wine when you started carnivore.
Yeah, that's not carnivore though. I mean, it's not healthy. It's outside of the carnivore, not carnivore, thing, because, but that is a question too, because it's like, we talk about, I don't eat from the plant kingdom. I only eat from the animal kingdom. But there are other kingdoms. What of mushrooms? That's an algae. Mushrooms? That's a whole other kingdom. It's not plant. It's not animal. So I don't know.
I don't eat mushrooms though. I don't eat fungi.
Me neither. I mean, we legislated it out of our homes. People get all upset about it, and there's like only 2 mushrooms that are safe, and the rest are poisonous. Like, why would we?
It doesn't make sense, does it?
No, not at all.
Good point.
Yeah. So I don't, but I know that, people like them. And so I don't know where to put them. So if we're
That's not in my book.
Well, right.
Mushrooms are not in my book.
The book is mute on the topic. The book, mostly just talks about animal kingdom, plant kingdom. It doesn't say anything about, what is it, the mycelium or the fungus kingdom.
I have to say that you're absolutely right. I can't recall anybody ever talking about fungi. I know that when I see fungi on a plate with a steak, I'm like, ugh. Like, I know that within me, actually, I associate it more with vegetarianism or veganism, the fungi, than I do the carnivore diet.
I mean, people like mushrooms,
Or they get those portobello mushrooms and they pretend like it's a hamburger. Don't they do that? Like they put the portobello mushroom between
that's a keto thing. Instead of bread, using the mushroom. Yeah, that's not a vegetarian. So vegetarian would not have a hamburger in there. They might pretend that the mushroom itself is the hamburger. But I've seen keto people do that too.
I missed that chapter, 8A. I missed the portobello mushroom keto chapter.
There are people who like mushrooms that, for whatever reason, they just like them. So I don't know. I mean, I don't even know where that falls. Like,
well, I'm not gonna say you're not carnivore if you eat the fungi.
Yeah, nor I. So, and the people who are really into taking spirulina, that's an algae, which is not a plant, not an animal.
Ooh, so once again, I think that's more like a vegan vegetarian thing. Mm-hmm. Spirulina, yeah. I don't know about that.
You would think that, but it's, I'm just saying.
Is it necessary on carnivore to have that? Because I think you're searching for nutrients if you're taking spirulina.
I don't know why people eat odd things. So I don't know. I mean, I've seen smoothies and drinks with them. I think it's now just like a thing. I don't know.
I remember eating kelp. Mm-hmm. Seaweed. Yeah. I remember doing that.
Yeah. I remember screaming when it wrapped around my foot, but, then thinking this is something I should eat. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. You know how it feels when all that's slimy and, oh, yeah. I always used to love the ocean. And then my last trip, I just, I had some things happen that were it was just too much. And I was like, ocean, we're done.
Eddie, you know what? I'm not far off that chapter. Let me tell you, I would love to look at the beach. Mm-hmm. I would love to be in a beach house, just standing on the lanai, looking out at the beach. I don't want to be down there. Okay? It's too much sand granules. There's kelp. There's jellyfish down there. And let me tell you, standing in the ocean with fish swimming around your legs, oh no. No. Going snorkeling and a fish swims up to your face and scares the bejeebers out of you? No. I will stand on the lanai and look at the beach. Look at the waves breaking.
Yeah.
That's as close as I want to get.
Yeah. Well, so I, was on this boat trip and, in the Caribbean, sometimes we'll be on a bigger boat and then you have this day trip to a small island and have a picnic and stuff there. So usually the boat will dock off a little further away and then you can either snorkel into the beach or take a smaller boat into the beach. So I decided to snorkel because I love the water, everything, So I'm swimming and I'm as I get in there, it's wow, this is a little farther than I thought, looking at it from the boat. But I'm swimming and swimming. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this huge school of fish just appears. And it's a huge cloud that is totally bigger, taller, wider, everything than me. And they're all these little tiny black fish, like little goldfish. And instead of going around me, the whole school, they just part. So I'm all of a sudden in the middle of this school of thousands of tiny blackfish. And there were so many that for 2 seconds, the sun was blacked out. And it was I was in complete darkness and feeling all these fish just slithering around my body and just going right around me. And I was just oh my God. So I finally get through that, and I feel like I just was about to like die, but I was like, no, I can't freak out because I'm still too far from the beach, so I'm just going to be calm, just going to keep going, keep going, keep going. And then I stopped short because there's a whole bunch of jellyfish, a school of jellyfish right in front of me. And I was like, oh, I stopped short like that. And the jellyfish, I feel like, kind of looked at me like, whoa, where'd you come from? And I was like, oh, my God.
Oh,
Yeah.
AD, you gotta start eating more fish.
No more fish.
Come out of the oceans.
No, yeah.
I'm sorry, that is horrifying. I thought it was bad enough I had fish swimming around my legs.
Yes.
I thought that was bad. I thought it was bad that a fish swam up to my face and scared the cheaters out of me. That is a nightmare.
Yes. They blocked out the sun for like 2 seconds.
No.
It was unbelievable.
I feel for you. I feel scared for you. I feel all of those things. Once again, on the lanai.
Yeah.
Looking out at the breaking waves.
Yeah.
At sunset.
Yeah. So when I finally got to the beach, later on in the day, they were like, so who wants to swim back? And I'm like, not me. Not me. I don't ever want to get in again.
I'm glad you experienced that for me, Ada.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did. Thank you for taking one on the chin.
Yeah, I took one. I did. That was rough. So I only want to get so close to the ocean life, but I do enjoy fish.
I'll eat them.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be in the water with them. It's all.
Yeah.
But I won't have sushi.
I mean, I still like getting in ocean. I still like getting in water. I like being in water. I think that, we are water beings.
I don't want to go off topic here, but I did go to a magnesium bath spa. Have you ever been to one of these?
No, but oh my God, that sounds incredible. I'm looking forward to my Epsom salt bath tonight.
Well,
I would much rather go to a spa, though.
Let me tell you about it. So one opened up down the street, and I had heard from a keto guru. One of the ways to supplement your magnesium is to go to one of these magnesium bath spas. And I was like, one just opened up. That's a terrific idea. 8A, I hated every second of it. Every single second. It was too long. You lie in this salt. You lie back in this salt and you just float there. You have no control over your environment. You're just floating. It's quiet. It's panicky. You're in like this pod. You're in a pod and you're weighted down. So even if you were like to lift your head, you're just covered in salt. You can't flip over. You can't touch yourself because it's pure salt. Didn't like it at all.
Was that like sensory deprivation too? Like you're in a pod?
Yes.
That is a lot. Sensory deprivation itself is hard, but then to have your body not be able to move.
Yeah, and they were like, "Oh, just close your eyes and relax." No, I was like this the whole time. I was like, because then to close your eyes, you can't see anything, you can't feel anything. No. No, and honestly, it did not supplement my magnesium. Trust me on that.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Deborah.
That is not a place of worship for me. The magnesium bath spa.
Mm-hmm. And it's so easy to just, take your own Epsom salt bath at home if you want to try and do it that way.
There were no fish in there.
Yeah, there were no fish.
That was
the Dead Sea. Good. The Dead Sea, that's another place to go. You get your salt. There's no fish. There's nothing living in there. No seaweed.
Now, I have to say, I would give that a try because you're outside. You're not in a pod, in a dark pod. Little fake starlight on the ceiling of the pod. So I might give that a try.
All right, so when the world opens up, that's the first trip we're going to take. Dead Sea.
Oh, all right. Okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally into that.
I'd do that for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, let us know. Maybe we can make it a Black Carnivore trip to the Dead Sea.
Oh,
Yeah.
what year are we looking at? 2022. I know you guys are looking at November.
No, I'm not going anywhere in November. 2022.
No, I mean for the vaccination.
Okay. Don't use those words. We don't want to, mess up our YouTube.
The vaccination.
Yeah. 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 I don't know, but I'm not going to make a plan to a big trip until 2022.
2022. I'm with you
Yeah.
on that one.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
Yeah. Well, we need a little time out too. There's, just it's a lot going on this year.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think that would be really cool. And it's important to get the salts in, but you get it in
It
the way
is
that you can
important to
do.
eat them,
Mm-hmm.
to eat the salt.
Mm-hmm. Or even absorbed through the body. Can be done that way too, through the skin. An Epsom salt bath, that is a great
I'm a little
method.
skeptical.
Yeah.
I'm a little skeptical.
Hmm.
I don't think that's but
Mm-hmm.
so other people can do it and it works for them. It doesn't work for me so much.
Yeah.
Trust me, I was in a magnesium. Didn't do much for me at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Well,
remember they said, you know what, you can have 1 hour for the cost of 30 minutes. I was like, no, thank you. You can keep that.
but see, this is again a sign. Like you listen to the signs of your body. So I enjoy a bath in salts. It's a delightful experience at home, not in sensory deprivation, and not bathed completely in salt. But it's a nice experience.
I do like the less fizzy bath balls. I do like those bombs.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm more of a shower person myself.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't like cleaning the bathtub, but if it's clean, I do enjoy taking a bath, some music, soft light, candles even.
Watching Black Carnivore or listening to the Black Carnivore podcast.
I would not, no, that wouldn't be what I do,
No.
but if you do, great. Yeah. There's a lot, so you all should definitely go look at. I made a playlist of Black Carnivore podcasts, and these are great interviews with lots of successful people in our community who are, doing the carnivore diet. So definitely go check those out. And I actually posted one. I think it was Monday or Tuesday about one of our members, Janae, who really focuses on eating regenerative. Well, all her food from regenerative farms, and particularly focusing on grass-fed meat or beef, and having great success with that. So that's a great interview to listen to.
Now, I saw quite recently. Do you guys have A&W? You have A&W, right? The restaurant A&W, like the fast food place.
I've heard of it.
I think you have A&W. I just saw a commercial. A&W is touting the grass-fed beef patty.
Wow.
Yes. So they came out with their plant burger.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're still selling the plant burger, but it seems as though with yang comes, what is it? Yin and yang. With yin comes yang.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if we have the plant burger, we got to have the grass-fed beef burger.
Mm-hmm.
A&W. Feeling a little peckish, you're on the road, hit an A&W, get a grass-fed beef burger. Just no bun, no pickles, no. Just get rid of that part.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. I mean, you got to say, okay, at least, it's entering grass-fed into the culture, and it becomes normalized so that people value that and ask for it and look for it. I mean, that's a start. I mean, we do have to make sure that we, define it so that, it's not like keto where you can just slap keto on anything.
Anything.
It's just keto. Yeah.
On coffee creamer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's true. You can't slap. I mean, grass-fed, the term grass-fed can be seen much like organic. I have to question, what does organic even mean? You're right, 8A. When we look at our book of carnivore, where are the definitions for these things?
Yeah.
We're being told to eat grass fed. I got to go and listen to Janae's interview. We're being told to eat grass fed. We're being told to eat organic, free range eggs. What does that mean exactly? Does it mean the same thing by province to province, country to country?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Grass finished, grass fed?
Yeah.
That has to be the appendix
Yeah.
within our book.
Right, and those are great questions to ask, because there is a difference between grass-fed and grass-finished, and there is a difference between, cage-free and pastured. So in the United States, I don't know what it is in Canada, but
see, that's the thing.
Yeah, but
country to country.
Right, but there are differences, and they are meaningful differences. So they're definitely things that you have to pay attention to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but I see Keturah Ross says the problem with calling it grass fed is it likely isn't grass finished. It's a scam. So, yeah, I mean, pretty much all cows are grass fed, for a significant portion of their lives. But you want them grass finished as well, because mostly the fattening up stage, I think, happens later on in their life. So early on they're eating grass, but if you want them to be on grass their entire lives, then that requires choosing a grass finished meat.
Now I have to reference the A&W commercial, because they talked to the rancher lady, and he said, your beef is grass fed, and she said, from start to finish. So she used the term grass-fed from start to finish.
But, I wonder too, because I feel like I've read, and forgive me, I do not know, the whole process of, raising animals and stuff. But, there's a portion where, the rancher has the animal. But then, yeah, I don't, right?
What the?
But then there's a portion of time where, the animal is then going off to...
a feeding lot.
Yeah, a feeding lot, which, so with the ranchers, from start to finish, well, her finish ends where the feeding lot begins.
Lot starts. Interesting.
Yeah. So,
yes.
I don't know. I wonder about that.
Whose finish is it?
Right.
See? Questions.
Yeah. So, and let's see, Lady V says Bear Burger is all grass-fed. Don't know what the finish is.
What's Burger? What's Bear Burger?
They have that in New York too, but I'm not. It's a chain of burgers. It's supposed to have higher quality meats. Okay. A chain of burger restaurants that's supposed to have higher quality meat in it, and I think they might have bison burgers and other types of burgers as well.
Bison burgers are yummy.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So if you can get that stuff, that's great. Keturah, exactly. Those all bring on more questions that we need answers to. So I was hoping to try to get, someone in, regenerative farming or who does animal husbandry of some kind to come and talk to us, and I think that a lot of times too, we have these assumptions about how animals are raised, but, a cow in, Georgia is going to have a very different experience than a cow in Montana. How much is, the cow in Montana can only eat grass outside for so much of the year before it's gone, or it's too cold. So, our ideas about what is grass-fed and how much and how long they should be grass-fed is going to have to change based off of where you are in the country. And so I don't feel like, we hear that, message and are realistic about it.
You put the grass and you make it into hay and you put it in the silo. Then the animals eat it.
Okay.
Over the winter time.
I guess. I thought the silo was for grain, but sure.
Could be for grain too. It's a silo.
Yeah. Siebla says I accidentally got a bison burger patty from a restaurant and it was really good and delicious, juicy too. Great. I will have to give it a try.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. And Katura Ross says, I just watched a Butcher Box guy. He explained a lot. Try to get him on. Yeah. Yeah. So definitely having some conversations with people who do this for a living would be
I
helpful.
would like that, A-Day.
Yeah.
I've made some inquiries.
Yeah. So yeah, let's do our best to make that happen. And Martine likes Butcher Box. That's awesome. Okay. So
that's a meat subscription service, correct?
yes, that's right. And for all of you, I also get meat from Belcampo, and if you use my code, which is in the description, you can get 10% off of your order. So that my code is just my first name, EDE, and the number 10. And you'll get a 10% discount. So the brisket that I had today was from Belcampo, but the problems I had with it were all mine. I am not going to blame on the meat. That was me not doing a great job. And I saw earlier a bunch of people saying, what, you didn't shelter it? It's not wrapped in aluminum foil? You didn't do it at 160 degrees? So yeah,
but it didn't have a thing over it to protect it from the elements.
Yeah. So, but I do have another brisket, so there's another opportunity to do this. So please, if you have good instruction, send me a DM on Instagram and just tell me what to do, because I'm gonna try again. I like brisket, and I really, really want it to be good.
I've never tried to make my own brisket. That I haven't tried. I'll see what happens with you. Yeah. I'll take heed to those instructions that people send.
Yeah, yeah. I was delighted at how, just how, how fatty it can be if you can get one that's not been trimmed to death. But, yeah. Yeah. Esther has ordered from Belcampo. Awesome. Yeah. I got a bunch of suet and...
Is this a meat subscription thing as well? What is this?
No, it's just... So Belcampo is a network of farms that are all committed to regenerative farming and raising animals in that environment. So the meat is grass-fed, grass-finished. It's very healthy. There's no pesticides and hormones and all that kind of stuff.
It's a franchise?
No. What? No. So it's a network of farms. I think that they work together to produce the meat that they're sending.
All right, yeah. I see.
It's not a franchise. Yeah.
Okay. Because that'd be pretty interesting. Getting on a franchise of regenerative farming franchise.
I think is super hard, and I think people are trying to get there, but they're not there, because I think that the laws and stuff in this country anyway are pretty strict about how to, how you can, prepare, sell, and distribute meat.
Yeah, we've got our regulations too, A-Day.
Okay. So Denise orders from Heartstone Farm in Maine. Cool. It's a small family farm.
You know your family farms. Shoot.
Yeah. So, okay. So brisket has to be covered so it doesn't dry out. None of the recipes I saw when I Googled said that, but okay.
We need clear instructions. Clear step-by-step instructions.
I did cover it in the last hour, but by then it was already too late. Okay. Yeah, there we go. All right.
But you ate it.
We ate it. We did eat it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So I hope that tonight's conversation was helpful in kind of thinking about all of this stuff. I think we've seen the carnivore community evolve from being, a sleepy little corner of like a few tight-knit folks who are really supportive and caring for one another, and really were able to help themselves heal from lots of different stuff. And it just sort of exploded into this thing that people tried. And then you've got like all these different voices talking about what carnivore is or what it should be, and what things you have to include in order to be optimally healthy. And so, it then evolved into, something much different from where it started. Because I think that the people who started doing it were coming from the perspective of being sick and trying to get healed, because keto didn't solve, their problems. But that's very different than when you have, very young, healthy, metabolically sound people doing it and trying to tweak it for optimal health. Like, their concerns are just not the same.
And they're leaders, once again, they're experts leading in this field, telling the masses what they should be doing. Question that.
Yeah. So, wow, I see discussion of ribs, covered ribs.
That's how I do mine. I cover mine up.
Yeah. Okay. And Virginia's fall off the bone. That's what I wanted. Brisket that's like falling apart. It's so soft and delicious.
Well, people love their brisket.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, so that was the point of tonight's conversation. And, I hope that we weren't too obscure, as we talked about some of these experts and some of the posts that we've seen. But I think some of you all have seen the posts and you know what we're talking about. But I feel like now more than ever, like, there's enough information out there. Enough of us have gotten good information that it's not essential to listen to every single person in every single video. I think you can get, a sound summary of the facts from a few places, and you don't have to, just keep going all over and really trying to evaluate the information. Because certainly in my journey, as I was still trying to fix things, I found like there was still a lot of conflicting information out there. So it was like, do I do it this way or do I do it that way? Do I do it this way or do it that way? And then, I would want to do one thing for a little while and then be like, oh, I read this other thing. Let me try this other thing. But, I wouldn't have given myself a long enough time to test either one of them really before swapping. And that's just not helpful. So.
And it's also okay for you to have your own personal dogma and your own set of food values and food rules that you abide by. That's okay. And don't let anybody shame you otherwise.
Yeah. So, we have done our best to absorb this information, to make it easy for you. And as you see, I posted, another video in the Start Here Carnivore Diet series. So it, talks about the common problems and solutions. And I encourage you to share it with people who might be interested, might benefit from eating this way. But I'm hoping to sort of set a base of information and so that you can just start. And, and continue to provide helpful information as we go along so that you feel like, there is a place to go that's got, some good, solid science. Yep. All right. So Katura says, I'm new to this, but you guys provide a lot of good info. I'm trying it out before I set my own rules. Excellent.
Yes.
Try it.
And also, Katura, we're still trying stuff out. But honestly, I'm still trying stuff out.
Yeah. And our bodies change too, especially, as we move into the middle years and the later middle years, a lot of things change. So things that worked for us 10 years ago don't necessarily work now. So we're a constant work in progress and a constant experiment. So I think you have to have a little curiosity and interest in experimenting. but that yields the best results. So
It does.
it does. It does.
And it makes you free, which is ultimately what we want, is freedom.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think.
youth and beauty. That's ultimately what I'm
That's
looking for.
yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
Those three things.
Yeah. So I have decided, based off of what I found this morning, that I am going to, really just be very strict. So it is just going to be meat, salt, and water. No herbs,
Cooked.
no spices. Cooked. Yes, cooked. What is cooked? So it will be mostly beef. If I happen to come across some fish, maybe I'll eat that. I will not eat pork. I'll cut that out entirely.
You gotta eat the fish. You gotta get them out of the ocean so they don't have to swim around my legs anymore.
I don't like those kind of fish. I like shellfish or bass.
Shellfish.
I like
ooh.
sea bass.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The roaches of the sea, but
Oh, I'm good with it.
Yeah. I was gonna put a lobster as a picture on, one of
so
on one of the thumbnails and stuff, just, to show the different kinds of meats. But when you blow it up a little bigger to make it like work, visually, it looks like, some kind of bug. And it's like, oh yeah, that's what it is.
I went out to
It's a big bug.
I went out to Nova Scotia a couple of summers ago, and that's when I had my first lobster, and it melted my heart.
Oh yeah.
It was wonderful.
Yeah. I love it
I
myself.
love Nova Scotia.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody's watching from Nova Scotia, Cape Breton, PEI, Newfoundland, Labrador.
Yeah.
Love you out there.
So, okay. So this, I think we've had a great discussion and it's time to wrap up. I have had a great time talking tonight, and you had something that you wanted to say, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I won't be around for a little while. I'm feeling like it might be about 6 weeks or so. You're not going to see my face, but I want you to know I'm still around the peripheral of Black Carnivore, and I have every intention of coming back and continuing our discussions, A-Day.
Nice.
6
Excellent.
weeks, maybe 6 weeks, something like that. I'll be back.
All right. So, everything okay, or?
Oh yes, everything's okay. It's just
Busy times.
I've got things that make money too. So
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes jobs they require your time.
Yes.
Okay, but awesome. We are looking forward to your return, but I'm sure that Arian's tears.
I'm gonna miss everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we will.
But no, I'm watching.
Yes. All right, everybody. So have a great night, and we will see you in the Zoom or next week. Yeah, on Monday? No, Tuesday. Oh my God, Tuesday. Next week on Tuesday. Oh, and that is when we have Dr. K, a Canadian keto doctor, right?
Yes, on the 8th of October.
Okay, awesome. So definitely you want to come back for that. He's got a roundtable going where he talks about the carnivore diet or just the keto diet.
Low carb, high fat diet. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's Canadian.
Yeah. So so make sure. So make sure you come back next Tuesday for that, and we will see you soon. All right, bye everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.